everyone. Welcome to our Club La Loma. I'm Ted Parsons, your MC for this evening's performance. You've met our maitre d' Nancy Schaefer and our club hostess Joe Daniels. They're the public face of our club and help to create the illusion of a members-only club with a first-class service and entertainment. Let's give them a hand and appreciation. Well, welcome to our show. Tonight, our players will take us back to the golden age of radio, a time when radio was the dominant form of entertainment in American homes. In the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, millions of families would gather each evening in front of a living room radio console to listen to newscasts, radio dramas, comedies, mysteries, which created what was called in those days the theater of the mind. There were 4 major radio networks in the U.S. in those days: the Columbia Broadcasting System, CBS, the National Broadcasting System, NBC, the American Broadcasting System, ABC, and the Mutual Broadcasting Network. All radio broadcast studios had a control room and a soundproof studio with a clock and an on-air sign. Large studios had seats for an audience and a stage for studio orchestra. Smaller studios had no audience and an organ for music accompaniment. All studios had room for 1 or more sound effects men and their sometimes very elaborate equipment. The sounds created by these men were a vital part in making the theater of the mind a realistic experience for radio listeners. Professional radio actors of the period often performed in 1 or more program a week and usually had only 1 or 2 rehearsals. Consequently, they always performed with scripts in hand, as will our troupe tonight. The first half of our show will feature an episode of Fibber McGee and Molly, a popular comedy which was broadcast on NBC from 1935 to 1956. Fibber McGee was the first radio show to have a regular cast of characters which appeared in each episode and whose dialogue became part of the popular culture of the day. Lines such as "Tain't funny McGee," "The way I hear it," and "Heavenly Days" were recognized by everyone and were often heard in daily speech. The second half of our show tonight will feature Our Miss Brooks, another comedy which ran on CBS from 1948 through 1957. Our presentations are from the original scripts used when these radio programs were first aired. We are ready to go on the air. 1, 2, 3, on. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Johnson's Wax program. Before we join Harlow Wilcox and the McGees, we have a surprise visit from the Andrews sisters who will perform a medley of their biggest hits. Put your hands together and give a big welcome to Shirley and Stu Jones as the Andrews sisters.
Be makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Marion and Jim Jordan as Fibber McGee and Molly. Now, as you may know, Molly has been on vacation, leaving Fibber to fend for himself. Well, she's at home now, and I'm about to learn what Fibber's been up to during her absence.
Well, thank you, everybody. My, it's nice to be back.
Well, it's nice to have you back, Molly.
Well, what are you waiting for, Mr. Milcox? I want to go to work.
Well, okay, Molly. Folks, tonight we also feature the Mills Orchestra. Here is a sure way to banish your spring cleaning blues. Let Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat put a grand shine on your floors and linoleum without any rubbing or buffing. There's no work to it at all, you know. You just pour the glow coat onto the clean floor, you spread it around with a cloth or the long-handled applier, and in 20 minutes, it dries to a beautiful, glowing finish. There's a special sale at your dealers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat right now. You can get both the regular wax and the glow coat in giant-sized cans. Well, folks, as you all know by now, Molly is home again, and after looking over the household bills accumulated during her absence, she's a trifle flabbergasted. Now here in the living room at 79 Wistful Vista, we find the defendant and the plaintiff in the case of income versus outgo, Fibber McGee and Molly.
McGee, look at this milk bill. What on earth you been doing? Sprinkling the lawn with it?
Well, it is a little high, ain't it? Well, what say we get a cow?
Why, who'd milk it?
Oh, you gotta milk them?
No, you just leave some empty bottles around the barn and then go out in the morning and rob the cow's nest.
Oh, yeah.
You have to milk them. And how about this electric light bill?
Oh, you mean that's high too?
Is it high? Well, look at it. Looks like the annual report of the TVA.
Well, I was up late a couple nights reading, you know, and you don't want me to be ignorant in current events, do you?
No, but what events have been worth this much current? Now, look here, dearie. Answer the door.
Okay.
Hi, folks. I'm your insurance agent. 45 cents, please.
45 cents?
Yes.
McGee, what is this? Plate glass insurance on your diamond lodge pin?
Oh, come on now, listen here, Molly. I took this out while you was gone. It's really great stuff. You see, for only 5 cents a week, you can get a complete coverage on being struck by lightning and being lost at sea, and we'll tell her the other features, lady.
Oh, yes, do.
Well, madam, this policy also covers you against capture by Chinese bandits, accidental injury from harpoons, submarine collisions,
Oh, yeah.
runaway camels, falling pyramids, stratospheric sickness, and double indemnity if you're bitten by a Mediterranean fruit fly.
Imagine that, Molly, just for 45 cents. Of course, I wanted a clause in there to cover us against being knocked out by the Sunday paper. But no. That would be another 10 cents a week.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's wonderful. And does it protect us from getting our fingers pinched in the encyclopedia?
Oh, no, madam. That would require a physical examination.
Yeah, well, shall I go ahead and give her the 45 cents, Molly?
Oh, sure, give it to her, and then round out a couple of Mediterranean fruit flies. Hungry ones, mind you.
Okay, here you are, lady. 45 cents.
Oh, thanks. You'll never regret this, folks. Why, just last week, one of our policyholders, a bellboy, collected $9.32 for getting his left ear caught in a keyhole.
And I suppose if there'd been twin beds in the room, he'd have got a double indemnity. Well, good day to you, ma'am.
Yeah, good day.
Well, you don't think it was wrong, do you, taking out that policy, Molly?
Oh, no, McGee. 'Twas a lovely stroke of business. In fact, we can put a claim in right away.
A claim? Huh? What?
Captured by Chinese bandits.
Oh,
Look at this laundry bill.
God, Molly, I don't think that'd work. My shirts couldn't stand the physical examination. They'd flunk the button analysis. Don't you get it, Molly? I said they flunk.
Ah, 'tain't funny, McGee. But now, let's get down to business. We've got to work out a budget, and I'll keep the books.
Okay, well, that's swell. I'll run downtown and get a set of books and a sample budget. It shouldn't cost us more than $2.
I'll answer it, Jerry.
Okay.
79 Wistful Vista, Molly McGee speaking. To whom am I speaking with, please? Who? Mert who?
Oh, that's Mert, the telephone operator, Molly. I'll talk to her.
Oh, no, you won't.
Huh?
What was it you wanted, please? Mr. McGee is busy right
Oh,
now.
I am not.
He is too. I mean, what? Oh, you'll call him later on? All right, dearie. Goodbye.
Be it ever so humble,
McGee.
there's no place like home.
McGee.
What?
Who's Mert?
Oh, Mert, she's just a telephone operator. I never met her. I just talked to her on the phone, you know, just kid with her and stuff like that there.
I see.
Come on, Molly, honest. Don't you believe me? Wait a minute. I got an idea. Hey, you folks out there, you've listened to our other shows, haven't you, lots of times? And will you please write Molly and tell her that I ain't ever seen this Mert before? Tell her that I never have.
Oh, all right, McGee. Let it go. I believe you.
Okay.
But now, speaking of operators, look at this telephone bill.
Huh?
$34. Can't Europe settle its own problems? Did you have to call them up and give them advice?
What you mean, Molly?
Why, we gotta cut down on using the telephone.
Well, okay. Let's have it taken out. I can build a little coop on the roof and we can use carrier pigeons.
You think their cooing would help our billing? Oh, you was always one to go to extremes. Now, you run down and get some bookkeeping ledgers.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll call a couple of taxi cabs right away.
A couple of cabs?
Well, sure. I gotta come back, don't I?
Sometimes I doubt the necessity. You'll take the streetcar.
Okay, but you know, that's false economy, Molly. It's a waste of time, and you know, time is money.
Oh, go on now. It'll do you good to ride the streetcar and rub shoulders with the common people.
Yeah, well, I guess you ain't rode any streetcar lately, Molly. It ain't your shoulders that get rubbed.
Oh.
I'll be back in a little while, and then we can just...
Oh, Fibber. Hello, Molly.
Well, hi there, Millie.
Hi, Miss Miff.
How would you like to hear Don Novus sing "You're the Only One for Me"?
Oh, that would be nice. Isn't that the Irish number he sung in Ronald Colman and Bulldog Drummond?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's bulldog drumming, all right. Well, take off his muzzle, Millie, and let him howl. I gotta run downtown and buy some bookkeeping stuff.
Well, trot along, McGee. What you waiting for?
Well, Molly, you gonna give me a kiss goodbye?
Oh, of course, dearie.
Goodbye.
Oh, are you leaving too, Miss Mills?
Oh, yes, I think so.
See, it's kind of crowded in this here car. Hey, bud, am I standing on your foot?
I don't know, mister. Jump up and down once. Ow! Yeah, that's my foot. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hey there, Johnny. Did I collect your fare?
Oh, you mean you're the conductor, old timer? You know, I ride for half fare, you know.
What's that?
I says I ride for half fare.
Well, hey, step more onto the car, please. What was I saying? Johnny, oh yes, that ain't the way I heard it.
Excuse me, conductor, may I have a transfer?
You won't need any none, daughter. Just tell the other conductor that Joe sent you. The way I hear it, Johnny, one feller says to the other feller, "Say," says, "this Joe Lewis does a lot of fighting, don't he?" "Yes," says the other feller, "he must get pretty tired of it." "Why shouldn't he?" says the first feller. "To him, life is just one round of fighting." Let me, you and me go to the next Lewis fight, Johnny, if you can spare 2 minutes.
Sure, that'd be great, old timer. But I never seen anybody so intoxicated with prize fighting as you, boys. You're practically punch drunk right now. Okay, well, here's where I get off, old timer.
Okay, Johnny. Let the young fella through there. Here, folks. One side there.
Phew, I wish I'd born rich. Heck, to me, a streetcar ride is just a mob scene parted in the middle. What's the joke, lady?
Oh, nothing much. I'm an artist.
Oh, yeah, you are. One of your brushes tickling?
No. I'm a modern artist. I paint those screwy paintings that nobody can understand. You know those.
Well, I know, but what's funny about
Well,
that?
the funny part is that I had an exhibition and somebody bought one. I mean, what kind of a dummy is that? I'm still laughing about that one.
Well, I've always wondered which got framed the worst, the picture or the buyer. Well, let's see now. Where'd be the best
Well,
place?
hello there, Fibber. Where you bound?
Well, I'm looking for a bookstore, a stationery store, something like that, Harpo. Our bill's been too high, and I got to get some books and make out a budget.
Oh, say, that's a fine idea. I have a budget myself.
Oh, you have? You got it with you?
Oh, sure, right here. Here, take a look at it.
Oh, great. Well, gee, that's interesting. What's this item here? It says entertainment, 20 cents. 20 cents. Gee, that must have been quite a fling.
Well, it was. The 20 cents was for car fare out to the Better Housekeeping Institute.
Oh, so that's your idea of entertainment, huh? The Better Housekeeping Institute? Is that the only toot you could think of?
Listen, Fibber, I had a swell time out there.
Here it comes again, folks.
Whenever I show them how easy it is to use Johnson's self-polishing glow coat, and particularly how they can save money right now by stocking up with those special giant-sized cans with the extra third free, why, nothing's too good for me. Why, they make me fudge, or panucci, or taffy apple, or something like that. You can see how much that saves on my budget.
Yeah, well, hey, that's great. I wonder why you didn't hide in the oven until morning so you could get your breakfast free too.
Well, actually I did. I tried that a couple of times, but somebody always comes along and sticks a fork in me to see if I'm done. Well, watch that budget, Fibber. Remember, the closed-fisted guy of today is the open-handed guy of tomorrow. So long, pal.
Yeah, old Rockefeller Wilcox is. Boy, does he budget. He saves so many pennies that the government buys up his old pockets for Indian reservations. Okay. Oh, here's a stationery store.
What can I do for you, Flytrap?
Well, hi there, Boomer. You working here?
Yes, having a special sale today on asbestos diaries for red hot mamas.
Oh, I don't know about any red hot mamas, Boomer. All I know are about smoldering women.
Smoldering women. Oh, that's very good, very good. Little far-fetched, but you never were any judge of distance.
Yeah, well, listen here, Boomer. You got any ledgers in here? I'm going to start a budget.
Is that so? Fine thing, a budget. Tried one myself. But I had a lot of troubles with my incidentals. Got 'em confused with my et ceteras and miscellaneous. Well, what's a budget for, Pinchpoke? Business, household, or personal?
Well, actually, all three. If business ain't better than our household, my wife's gonna get personal.
Ah, I see. Well, where did I put these budget books? I've got one right here somewhere. Let me look at these shelves. Interesting lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of junk.
Budgets. Here's a bottle of invisible ink for feminine correspondence. Nothing a girl cherishes like an old faded love letter. Roll of blotting paper. Ever make a study of blotting paper? Very absorbing.
Come on. I wanna see a budget.
Oh, certainly. Must have one here someplace. Let's see now. Here's some gold coins for fountain pens. Knobby little nibs, aren't they? I'll take a handful. Might want to have a tooth filled. And what's this? Package of paper? Wonder how it got so dirty.
It's carbon paper.
Oh, so it is. Thought for a minute it was brunette stationery for blackmailing.
Oh, yeah.
And here's an old computing machine. Might use that in your broadcast to add your libs. Well, imagine this. I found a budget book. And a really good one too. Yours for only $3.
Okay, well, here you are. Don't wrap it up though. I gotta be going, Boomer.
Well, so have I. Here comes the owner. Might be a trifle embarrassing to explain what I'm doing behind the counter.
Hey! Can you imagine that? And I thought he was working in there. What a crook. Well, let's see what's in this budget book anyway. Well, it says husband's clothing per year, $1,200. See, that's great. I ought to get a nice outfit for that.
Say, buddy, you got to spare a dime for a cup of coffee?
Wait. Let me look at my budget, bud. Oh yeah, it says charities per year, $350. Well, might as well clear that up for the whole year right now. Here's $100, bud. I'll meet you tomorrow here at noon and give you the other $250.
All right, but don't keep me waiting. I'm going to the races.
Okay, bud. Okay, now what else does it say here? It says wife's clothing per year, $1,500. Boy, won't Molly be happy at that? This is a wonderful bump. Girl, I never thought we could do it.
Well, how do you do, Mr. McGee? Oh, it's so nice to see you again.
Oh, hi there, Miss Uppington. Where are you going in such a hurry?
Oh, I must get down to the caterers, Mr. McGee. You see, I'm giving a tea, and I must get some advice about the hors d'oeuvres. Why, do you know the anchovies I bought simply refuse to respond to the curling iron?
Oh, dear.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the curling iron, curling the anchovies. Oh, well, that's some stuff. How do you get the toothpicks into the little sausages, Uppy? You use a bow and arrow?
Oh, now, Mr. McGee, I'm afraid you're twitting with me. Really?
Well, I twin myself with that one, that's right.
Oh, and that reminds me. I'm so glad Mrs. McGee has returned. Do tell her to come to my tea on Wednesday. Just a simple, homey affair. Only 60 or 70 people invited, you know.
Well, that sounds very chummy. Where are you holding it? Are you at home or maybe in the Yellow Bowl?
How very amusing. The Yale Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that, isn't it, guy? You can see, I can just see that old mug in a frock coat plunging around your left end with a piece of cake. Well, I'll go ahead and tell Molly Uppy, and much obliged, she'll be glad to get a free meal now on account that we're on a budget.
Oh, really? My, how fascinating. Oh, I've been through that budgeting nuisance myself, you know. Even now, I often say to myself, Abigail, you nutty girl. Not another string of pearls until next week. Well, so nice to see you again, Mr. McGee. Goodbye.
Goodbye. She says not another string of pearls until next week. I wonder if she realizes how many oysters she's thrown out of work. Okay, well, let's see this budget book again. Allowance for,
Hello, Fibber. Started your budget yet?
yeah, well, I just got the book, Millie. We're gonna come out a lot better than we thought.
Oh, that's swell.
Well, look at here, for instance, according to this book, we can spend $3,600 a year for groceries. Golly, our grocery bill has never been over $700 or $800 before, and that's really quite a savings, ain't it?
Oh, yes. You ought to finish the year with a very nice little deficit.
I'll say so, boy, and believe me, we ain't gonna touch that deficit except in a case of emergency.
Where are you going now?
Well, I'm shopping. I'm gonna buy our clothes for the whole year now and get it over with. Hey, this budget allows me $1,200, and heck, Molly gets $1,500. That's more clothes than we've ever had in our whole lives. Ain't that wonderful? And if it hadn't been for this little budget book, we never have been able to done it. Oh, hello there, little girl.
Hi, mister.
Well, move your tricycle, let me by, will you please? I just gotta get in the house. You live around here?
Sure I do. I betcha.
Well, where? I says, where? Where do you live?
Oh, with my mama.
Well, where does your mom live?
With Papa. We all live there.
Where?
Right?
We're right back where we started.
Oh, have we been somewhere?
No, we ain't.
Well, how can we be back?
Oh, forget it. What's your name, little girl?
Teeny?
Oh, Teeny. Well, that's a cute name.
Sure it is, I betcha.
But don't you live there in that house in the corner?
Oh, you mean the brown one with the brick porch?
Yeah, that one over there.
No.
Oh, well,
Say, mister, you know what?
do I know what? I says what?
Oh, did you see my papa at the playground last night?
No, I didn't, but what was your father doing at a kid's playground at night?
Well, I betcha he was there, I betcha.
Huh?
He said so on the telephone this morning.
He did?
He said, boy, we sure were swinging last night, weren't we, Charlie?
Where did you say you lived, little girl?
Right over there.
Oh, in that house?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well then, you're the little girl's mama's. Well, I got some news for you, little girl. I met somebody downtown and they told me you just got a new little baby sister.
Oh, gee, honest?
Yeah, yes, ain't that great?
Oh, that's dandy, I betcha. I guess I gotta go now. Give me a push, will you, mister?
Sure, where you going?
I'm going down to the hospital and tell my mama. Gee, she will be so surprised.
I'll bet her mama be surprised, all right. I've never known a surprise party that the host didn't know all about it beforehand. Well, let's see. Where did I put that budget book now before oh yeah, here it is. Well, hi there, Molly, I done it. I got the budget book and that ain't all.
What?
Well, I've done all the shopping for the whole year and boy, is that a wonderful budget.
What?
1,500 books, 1,500 bucks for your clothes.
Yes?
Yeah, well, 1,200 for my clothes and Charity gets 346 bucks.
Oh, hold it, McGee. Calm down. Heavenly days.
Yeah, but look here, Molly. Look at this budget. It's marvelous.
Quiet, eager nuts. There's something funny here. Let me see that book.
Oh, okay, here it is. You see where it says about the
McGee,
what?
this budget is for an income of $20,000.
Well, sure, but what? It is? I gotta make $20,000 this year to pay for it all? Oh, well, what's the difference? I can handle it. I got the whole world ahead of me.
Oh, you have you?
Yeah.
That isn't the world in front of you, dearie.
What you mean?
You're behind the 8 ball.
Oh, Shaw.
Fibber McGee and Molly will be right back in just a moment. And now I want to ask you a question. Haven't you noticed that at this time of year, everything in the house seems to be badly in need of a spring tonic? Floors, furniture, and woodwork are just waiting for a gleaming coat of Johnson's wax to make them beautiful as new again. Well, right now is the time to buy Johnson's wax and Johnson's self-polishing glow coat too. By acting at once, you can get giant-sized cans of both the wax and the glow coat at the same price you usually pay for a pound or a pint.
Hey, Molly,
Yes?
are you still, do you forgive me for making a mistake and buying all that silly stuff?
Oh, sure. We all make mistakes, dearie. But now, after this, don't be so extravagant.
Well, I guess. I have been at that.
Yes.
Matter of fact,
What?
that ain't all.
Oh.
Well, I got into a pretty stiff poker game the other night, too.
Oh, why? That's terrible.
Yeah, but I won $13.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harold Wilcox speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, Racine, Wisconsin, inviting you all to be with us again next Tuesday for another episode of Fibber McGee and Molly. And remember, Johnson's Wax gladdens the heart of any housewife. It makes her laugh, it fills her with glee. The shine on her floors is all that you'll see.
Oh, so much fun. I'm just having a wonderful
Let's have a round of applause for our players. Before we begin the second part of our show, I want to acknowledge some people who worked very hard to ensure that our production runs smoothly and as planned. First, our stage manager, Mark Klaus. Wave to the folks, Mark. Mark is responsible for making sure that the actors and any props are in the right place at the right time, and he does much more besides to make sure our troupe functions smoothly. Now, during my introduction to tonight's show, I said that the sound effects men were a critical part of radio drama in the golden days of radio. Our own troupe sound effects teams worked very hard to produce the sound effects that helped make this evening's show an experience of the theater of the mind. Put your hands together for our sound team, Don Schaefer and Carolyn Waller. Our second radio show this evening is a hilarious episode of Our Miss Brooks. This radio comedy was an instant hit with the American radio audience and earned its star, Eve Arden, many awards for her role of the sardonic, overworked, underpaid, and love-starved English teacher at Madison High School. For years, Miss Brooks has dreamt of a romantic relationship with a biology teacher, Mr. Boynton. But thus far, Mr. Boynton has paid more attention to his lab animals than he has to Miss Brooks. Before we meet Miss Brooks, however, we'll have another visit from our Andrews sisters.
Boy,
Come again.
Now we go on the air in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, written by Al Lewis. Not the Al Lewis who played Grandpa on The Munsters, but a different Al Lewis. Well, Tuesday, January 3rd, marked the end of the holidays, and teachers and pupils all over the country return to their various halls of learning. Our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, was discussing her vacation with her landlady at breakfast last Tuesday.
I guess vacations are necessary sometimes, Connie, but now I suppose you're looking forward to returning to dear old Madison High with considerable enthusiasm.
Yes, indeed, Mrs. Davis, with all the enthusiasm of a sailor returning from his vacation from Bali Bali.
You'll get back into the swing in no time, Connie. Is Walter Denton picking you up this morning?
Yes, he is, and I hope he's on time. Our beloved principal has designated today as Board of Education Day.
Oh, what type of ceremony is Mr. Conklin planning?
Well, Mr. Stone, the head of the board, will be there for his annual oiling, and Mr. Conklin will have the whole school lined up on campus. Some of the students will even march past Mr. Stone carrying the flag.
Well, it can't do any harm, Connie. The board might decide to give you teachers a raise next year.
I hope so. Then maybe next year we'll be strong enough to carry the flag. I'll get it. I'll be right there.
I'll take the dishes into the kitchen.
All right, Mrs. Davis, and thanks for breakfast. Good morning, Walter.
It's more than that, Miss Brooks. This is the morning when the glorious gates of learning fling open anew, when the tantalizing aroma of chalk and pencil shadings beckons us all, students and teachers alike, to join hands and amidst the clanging of bells, come gaily skipping back to the black hole of Calcutta.
Why, Walter, I didn't know you had it in you, and I wish you'd put it back. You did have a nice vacation, didn't you?
Oh, sure I did, Miss Brooks. That is up until last night, and then it was practically ruined by Mr. Conklin. He ordered me to write an editorial for the Madison Monitor on what the Board of Education means to me.
Did you write it?
Oh, sure I did. You know what a tyrant old Marblehead can be when, Mr. Conklin can be when you cross him. But as a believer in the freedom of the press, I really gave that Board of Education both barrels.
Walter, this is a new year. Don't you think one barrel would have been enough?
Giving us Monday off after New Year's Day and then making us go to school Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday and Friday is downright sadistic.
Well, it's better than not having Monday off, isn't it?
Well, sure, but it's not as good as having the rest of the week off.
Well, I'm with you there, Walter. It would also be nice if they gave us February and March off, too. But that isn't the way the board works.
Well, sometimes I doubt that they work at all. But it's all in this editorial, Miss Brooks. Here, I told Mr. Conklin you'd proofread it and bring it into his office this morning.
Me?
Well, sure. You're faculty advisor to the school paper, aren't you? Don't be nervous about handing it to him, Miss Brooks. Just toss it on his desk.
I can only do that if you'll do something for me.
Oh, what's that, Miss Brooks?
Notify my next of kin. Look, Walter, Mr. Conklin wants to start the new year off with the spirit of cooperation. You better destroy this literary Frankenstein.
Oh, I couldn't do that, Miss Brooks. But I'll think it over on the way to school and maybe amend some of my statements.
Fine. Now I'll just slip on my coat and we can get going.
Swell. My pal Stretch is waiting out in the car, and he's pretty brought down.
Stretch Snodgrass? What's the matter with him?
Oh, you know what a great athlete Stretch is.
Yeah.
He can pick up any sport in a second, but he can't seem to absorb much with his brain. He's afraid that during the holidays he forgot everything he learned that fall term. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. The alphabet.
Go ahead, Stretch. Tell Miss Brooks what's bothering you. She might be able to help you out.
I'll certainly try, Stretch. What's your immediate problem?
Everything.
Good. As long as you got it localized, I can help.
Well, I mean everything at school, Miss Brooks. You see, I just gotta stay eligible for basketball, but Mr. Boyne says I gotta take a biology test pretty soon. And I forgot so much during our vacation, I'm afraid I'm just no good at no biology no more.
Stretch, it's incorrect to use a double negative in a sentence. You just used 4 of them.
Oh, then what I said was okay, huh? Well, okay. Gee, I'm sure glad I didn't forget none of my English, like I forgot about my animals in biology. Gosh, I used to know my animals like I know my A-B and my A-B.
C's? I was right about the alphabet.
Yeah, I guess you were. Go on, Stretch. Tell Miss Brooks some more about the test.
Well, I think it's going to be mostly about birds and monkeys and stuff like that there.
What, where?
Well, I got to know the names of the different kinds of baboons, which I used to know real good, but I forgot.
Well, don't worry about it, Stretch. If you want me to, I'll meet you after school and review your lessons with you.
Oh, that'd be keen, Miss Brooks. Gosh, I bet even the baboons know the names of all the other baboons.
Well, don't worry about that either. If you'll just concentrate and spend the next couple of years studying, you'll be as smart as any other baboon.
I summoned you into my office, Miss Brooks, to inform you of the fact that at 1 o'clock, Mr. Stone is due to arrive. Promptly at 12:55, the students and faculty will line up outside between the old cannon and the flagpole.
Yes, sir.
Then I will greet Mr. Stone and read aloud the editorial, which is to appear in the next issue of the Madison Monitor.
Oh, the editorial.
I'm not finished, Miss Brooks. The editorial is called What the Board of Education Means to Me and was written by Walter Denton. Now, as you know, I am not overly fond of young Denton, but as my daughter Harriet pointed out to me, he does get off some good editorials.
He gets off some pips. But Mr. Conklin,
He said that you would deliver this one to me after proofreading it, Miss Brooks. May I have it, please?
May I have it, please? But Mr. Conklin, I haven't got it, and neither has Walter. He told me he lost it on the way to school today.
Lost it? That's out of the question. He's just trying to...
Mr. Conklin, if you're going to use the editorial as a welcoming speech, you should write it yourself.
Me?
Of course, you're the master of the editorial form. Even your intercommunications are pure poetry.
They are.
Certainly they are. You sit right down at your desk, Mr. Conklin, and start creating.
Well, I do have a way with words. So I suppose, yes, yeah, I'll draft a speech this morning and send it to you at lunchtime, Miss Brooks, for proofreading. Not that you'll find any grammatical errors,
Of course not.
but correct every one you find, please. One more thing before you go. I'd like some exciting conclusion to the ceremony I planned on campus. Something that would really wind it up in spectacular fashion. Any suggestions, Miss Brooks?
Well, you say we're lining up between the cannon and the flagpole?
That's correct, Miss Brooks.
Then I think I have just the idea for you.
What is it, Miss Brooks?
Let's shoot Walter Denton out of the cannon.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith.
Now, proof that brushing teeth right after eating with Pepsodent toothpaste helps stop tooth decay before it starts. Continuous research, hundreds of case histories, makes this the most conclusive proof in all dentifrice research on tooth decay. Eminent dental authorities provided hundreds of college men and women for over 2 years. One group always brushed their teeth with Pepsodent right after eating. The other followed their usual dental care. The group using Pepsodent toothpaste as directed, using Pepsodent exclusively, showed a startling reduction in the average number of cavities and far less tooth decay. The other group developed cavities at a much higher rate. No other dentifrice offers proof of these results.
You'll wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent.
Well, all during my morning classes, I waited for Mr. Conklin's epic essay, What the Board of Education Means to Me. But when the epic didn't arrive by noon, I decided to expose myself to a luncheon invitation from Mr. Boynton and hurried toward the biology laboratory. Just a few doorways from my goal, I was intercepted by Madison's athletic giant and mental midget, Stretch Snodgrass.
Excuse me, Miss Brooks, but could I see you for a minute, please?
I suppose so, Stretch. What's new?
Well, Mr. Conklin, he appointed me as messenger of the day, and you know that I'm supposed to deliver the messages.
Great. What does he want to see me about?
Well, Mr. Conklin told me to deliver his Board of Education speech to you during the lunch period, and that's why I stopped you just now.
Why?
I ain't got it.
I haven't got it.
Oh, I know you ain't got it. I'm supposed to give it to you.
Well, why ain't you got it?
Well, he didn't give it to me yet.
One of us is getting nowhere in my English class. Now, if you'll excuse me, Stretch.
Oh, sure, Miss Brooks.
Just leave the speech on Mr. Boynton's lab as soon as Mr. Conklin gives it to you. I've been anticipating this luncheon date for some time.
Okay, Miss Brooks, I'm sorry I held you up.
That's all right.
I really didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
That's all right, Stretch.
I didn't know you were anticipating.
So long, Stretch.
Come in. Well, it's Miss Brooks. I'll be with you in just a minute. I've been trying to correct this biology test paper. It's an essay.
Oh?
I can hardly make out the name of... the writing is so illegible. Let's see, could it be Snodgrass?
What's the title of the essay?
A man's best friends is his animals.
It's Snodgrass, all right.
Listen to this. Lovebirds is very nice pets, as they don't never bother nobody hardly, but is all the time busy making love. Isn't that terrible?
Oh, you can't knock it to me. Oh, you mean the grammar. Yes, yes. It is pretty bad.
And here's another paragraph. Baboons is pretty big, and the mandrill is the biggest baboon of all. They make very nice pets, as they don't never bother nobody hardly, but is all the time busy making love.
He ought to change that title to An Animal's Best Friend is His Animals. You can finish that later, Mr. Boynton. Let's go to lunch.
Okay, very well, Miss Brooks. I hope we run into Denton in the cafeteria. These papers must have fallen out of his briefcase this morning. I'd like to return them. Seems to be an editorial to the school paper.
Oh, let's see that. What the Board of Education Means to Me by Walter Denton. I'm glad I discovered this in time. As faculty advisor to the paper, Mr. Conklin would hold me responsible for the most embarrassing incident that ever happened at Madison.
Well, what do you mean, Miss Brooks? What's in the editorial?
Just a pint or two of Walter's spleen. It's a blast of the board, which I'm going to tear up right now.
No, what? Hey, what's that, Miss Brooks? Just a minute. Look what you've done. You've torn up Stretch's essay along with the other one.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Boynton. What were you planning to do with it? Send it to the Congressional Library? Such deathless prose. Baboons don't never bother nobody hardly, but is all the time busy making love. What am I laughing at? That should happen to both of us.
Miss Brooks, Mr. Boynton, God, I guess they must have gone to lunch. Oh, well, we'll just leave Mr. Conklin's speech on the desk and...
Hiya, Stretch. Have you heard about the ceremonies we're going to have?
Yeah, Walter, I've done that. I've heard about it. I guess Mr. Stone's coming and we all gotta line up and greet him.
And boy, is he going to get a greeting. I'm cooking some powder down in the chem lab that I'm going to put in the back of the old cannon. And when Mr. Stone gets here, we'll give him a salute that he'll hear till he's 90.
God, do you think Mr. Conklin will like that?
He doesn't know about it yet. What's this on the desk here? Oh, what the Board of Education means to me. Say, I thought I lost this editorial while I was in here this morning.
What editorial?
This one. Gee, I'm glad I found it. Miss Brooks was right. This could get me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but Walter...
This thing is dynamite. I'm going to tear it up right now.
But you shouldn't. There's something I gotta tell you.
In a minute. Now, what is it, Stretch?
That wasn't your editorial you just tore up.
It wasn't?
No, it was a speech that Mr. Conklin's been sweating out all morning. Yeah, well, he told me to give it to Miss Brooks, but don't worry, Walter, I'm very good at jigsaw puzzles. I'll just pick up the pieces out of the waste pack and I'll paste them back together again.
I'd better help you. Oh, the chem lab. I've got powder cooking.
You better get back there then, Walter. Heck, this will be easy for me, really, honest. It'll be easy. You go on back and make some real good explosives. It'll liven the place up a bit.
Yeah, I guess I'd better, Stretch. But whatever you do, get that speech pasted together fast.
Okay, pal, okay. Let's see. There's more papers in this basket than I thought. Well, here's one piece that fits to another, and oh no, it don't neither. It almost fits. Oh, it'll be good enough.
Walter? Walter Denton?
Yes, Miss Brooks?
Have you seen Stretch anywhere? I've looked all over the grounds for him. Walter, what are you doing with that cannon?
Cannon? Oh, I'm just polishing it, Miss Brooks. I want everything to look spick and span when Mr. Stone gets here.
Well, he better not get here until Stretch shows up. with Mr. Conklin's speech. I don't know what
Ah,
he'll do
there you
with...
are, Miss Brooks. Have you finished checking my speech?
Not really, Mr. Conklin.
What do you mean, not really?
I haven't begun. That is, I haven't begun to enjoy anything as much as I have this speech of yours. Stretch is carrying it for me now.
Excuse me, Miss Brooks. Here's the speech, right here in this folder.
Oh, nice timing, Stretch. See, Mr. Conklin, here's your speech.
Not a minute too soon. Oh, I think this is Mr. Stone's car driving up right now. Attention, everyone. Straighten out those lines. That's right. Now, Miss Brooks, you stand on my left, and I'll stand here by the cannon.
Get a little closer to the cannon, Mr. Conklin. We're stunning together.
Quiet, Denton. Now remember, when Mr. Stone steps out of the car, I'll count 3, and we'll all salute him.
I certainly will.
Ready now? 1, 2.
Walter, what did you put in that cannon?
It was just sort of a giant firecracker, Miss Brooks. Wasn't it key?
Would somebody please help me up?
Of course, Mr. Conklin. There you are, sir. Everything all right? There's no reason to be embarrassed. That wasn't Mr. Stone's car.
Al,
I said that wasn't Mr. Stone's car.
don't stand there flapping your lips. Say something.
He can't hear a word you're saying. He was standing so close to the cannon it must have plugged up his ear.
Oh no, this is terrible.
What? What's that? Say it again.
We've got to get him into his office. He seems stunned.
Well, all the same, come on, gang. 3 cheers for Mr. Conklin. Yay, Mr. Conklin! Yay, Mr. Conklin! Yay, Mr. Conklin!
What's going on here? Why is everybody so quiet?
Poor Mr. Conklin.
Oh, gosh, Miss Brooks. You don't think Daddy's hearing will be permanently impaired, do you?
Of course not, Harriet. It's just a temporary condition. Shall I say come in, Mr. Conklin?
What's that? What?
Come in.
Hiya, Miss Brooks. How's Mr. Conklin's hearing?
Very bad, Walter.
Good. We're going to shoot off the cannon again.
But Walter.
That was Denton, wasn't it? Did he have any explosion of the cannon?
Oh, I'm sure he did, Daddy. I say, I'm sure he did, Daddy.
That's right, Mr. Conklin. It just exploded. I say.
It certainly is corroded. I don't understand what happened. That cannon hasn't been touched since the Spanish-American War. It's absolutely useless.
What do you mean useless? We won, didn't we?
You're right, you're right. It is unusual for Mr. Stone to be so late. He's quite a busy man, though.
Gosh, Miss Brooks, do you think Daddy's hearing is getting any better? Any better at all?
Come in.
He's improving by leaps and bounds. Harriet, please go out and tell Walter to stop that racket at once.
Okay, Miss Brooks, but you'll stay with Daddy, won't you?
Certainly. And don't worry about him, Harriet. He's not in any pain.
All right, Miss Brooks. See you later, Daddy.
Miss Brooks, when Mr. Stone gets here, I don't want him to know that there's anything wrong with my hearing or anything else. If he suspected that a cannon had exploded on school property, he'd go back to the board in a tizzy.
I understand, Mr. Conklin, and in view of your condition, I think it might be a good idea if I read your speech to him.
And one more thing, Miss Brooks. In view of my condition, it might be a good idea if you read my speech to him.
Quite an echo in here.
Now remember to read the speech very slowly, Miss Brooks, and when I see your lips moving, I'll make some appropriate comments from time to time.
Come in.
How do you do, Miss Brooks?
Well, it's Mr. Stone.
I'm sorry I'm late. Osgood, it was unavoidable.
Thank you, Mr. Stone, and a Happy New Year to you also.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Conklin's a little confused, Mr. Stone. It's not every day that so a distinguished visitor honors our institution with a visit.
Well, that's very gracious, Miss Brooks.
The speech, Miss Brooks, the speech.
Yes, sir. However, Mr. Conklin has prepared a little speech which I will read to you now.
You? But why don't you read it, Osgood?
You see, Mr. Stone, he's so choked with emotion he's speechless. However, I have it right here. Nice bass job. It's entitled, What the Board of Education Means to Me by Osgood Conklin. It reads, few people realize the magnificent efficiency with which our Board of Education functions. This august body is composed of a group of able members, and these baboons grow to a height of 4 feet.
What?
Every word comes right from the bottom of my heart.
I don't know if I should read
I
on.
insist that you do.
Oh, well. Members of the Board of Education make very nice pets as they don't never bother nobody, but is all the time busy making love.
What's the meaning of this?
Right from the bottom of my heart.
Now see here, Conklin. If this is some sort of a joke, I don't like it, not one bit.
Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Stone. Miss Brooks, hand me that last page.
Mr. Conklin, I wouldn't.
Give it to me. Give it here. To sum up, I would like to read what I have written in this last paragraph. To wit, having observed Mr. Stone's educational methods, I am convinced that his outstanding talent is his ability to eat bananas while hanging by his tail. Believe me, Mr. Stone, these sentiments are dictated. What? Eating bananas while hanging by his tail?
The man has obviously taken leave of his senses.
But sir, if you let me explain.
If and when his senses return, this matter will be thoroughly investigated. Good day, Miss Brooks.
Miss Brooks, this speech. This isn't a speech I wrote.
I know it now, Mr. Conklin, but I didn't.
I hold you personally responsible for this entire fiasco. And believe me, Miss Brooks, you have no idea how severe your punishment is going to be.
Oh, yes, I have, Mr. Conklin.
Miss Brooks, where are you going?
Out to get some bananas. There's nothing like hanging by your tail from a flagpole to whip up an appetite.
Eve Arden, as our Miss Brooks, returns in just a moment. But first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream. You love your crowning glory too. A luster cream shampoo.
Tonight? Yes, tonight. Show him how much lovelier your hair can be after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world has the lustrous blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Not a soap, not a liquid. Luster Cream leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Regularly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen. It is soft and manageable, even in hardest water. And Luster Cream lathers instantly. No special rinse needed after a Luster Cream shampoo. So gentle, Luster Cream is good for even children's hair. Tonight, yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
he'd read a written confession from Walter and Stretch, Mr. Conklin still blamed me for the day's misadventures. Accordingly, he ordered me to write a brand new speech for him that afternoon. I wouldn't have minded so much, but it meant breaking one of my rare dates with Mr. Boynton. I was complaining about it as we walked down the hall after school.
Well, it does sound unfair, Miss Brooks, but after all, Mr. Conklin's the boss. What can you do about it?
Well, I could go into his office and tell him off, I suppose, but that wouldn't do any good either. He can't hear a word. Wait a minute. Maybe these are the ideal conditions. A chance to say all the things I've wanted to say to Mr. Conklin right to his face.
Well, do you think that's wise, Miss Brooks?
Well, I don't know how wise it is, but it would certainly do my heart a little good.
Excuse me, Miss Brooks. I've got to take this aspirin into Daddy.
Let me take it in, Harriet. There's something I'd like to say to him.
He's still pretty upset, Miss Brooks. Maybe I'd better see him alone first.
All right, Harriet.
Here's your aspirin, Daddy, and a glass of water. See? Water, drink.
Stop gibbering, girl. I can hear you distinctly.
You can.
Yes, it happened just a moment ago. My head cleared. My hearing is perfectly normal.
Oh, how wonderful. Oh, Daddy, Miss Brooks is waiting to see you. Can I send her in, please?
Very well.
Daddy will see you now, Miss Brooks.
Oh, goody.
See you tomorrow.
All right, Harriet.
Well, Miss Brooks?
Well, I just wanted to talk to you about my having to stay in this afternoon, you inconsiderate, maladjusted, subhuman tyrant.
What? What did you just say?
I've got some things to tell you that I've been saving up for years. It's going to be a great pleasure to coo them into your dainty, plugged-up ears.
Eh? How'd that go again?
Of all the puffed-up, overstuffed windbags I've ever met, you take the marble cake, Marblehead.
Eh?
Rather than try to talk some sense into that mixed-up, mule-brained little head of yours, I'll do the work this afternoon. Does that make you happy, you beady-eyed, beetle-browed old buzzard?
Oh, yes, Miss Brooks. That makes me very happy.
Good. And I just wanted to say... Oh, no. You can hear?
Oh, yes, Miss Brooks. From the moment you enter this office, you'll be pleased to know that this overstuffed windbag has absorbed your every word. You realize, of course, Miss Brooks, that any chastisement you have suffered in the past is mere child's play when compared to what's in store for you now.
What? What?
I will not only see to it that our Board of Education receives a full accounting of what you have done, but in addition to that...
Oh, must be contagious. Can't seem to hear a single word you're saying. It was over 3 hours ago that the cannon went off, and here I am taken suddenly stone deaf. Oh well, I guess there's no sense in worrying about it. I'm just gonna go and relax and enjoy my evening.
Next week brings you another Our Miss Brooks show, brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, manageable, glamorous, caressable hair, and Pepsodent toothpaste to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, directed by Al Lewis, with music by Wilbur Hatch. Be with us again next week at the same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. This is the CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Let's bring our core show cast and crew for a final bow. Did they do a great job?
They do. Very good.
Well, thank you for coming to our show. We had fun doing it for you. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.